In this lesson, I'm going to share something important for writing task 2. And if you follow along today, you will find and discover how to accomplish two important things when it comes to the criteria for marking writing task 2. The first is task achievement, and the second is coherence and cohesion, which is how you carefully structure each paragraph in writing task 2. So let's get started. In writing task 2, the main task that you're asked to achieve is to share your opinion. So, how exactly do you share your opinion? Well, in each prompt for writing task 2, once you're given a problem or a situation or a statement, you're asked whether you agree or disagree. And you may be asked to give a solution to a problem, or you may be asked to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. And whatever the instructions say, regardless of its agree, disagree, solution to a problem, advantages or disadvantages, essentially what you are being asked to do is to share your opinion. So let's see how you can share your opinion and structure each paragraph for the body of writing task 2, because the body paragraphs, after you've written your introduction and before you've written your conclusion, in the body of the essay, you want to clearly express your opinion. And I'm going to give you 3 easy steps to accomplish this task. And I call it the rule of 3. And if you look at the other lessons, you'll see that this rule of 3 applies to the whole structure of your essay. But for this lesson, we're looking specifically at how you can use this rule of 3 to clearly state your opinion, the reason for it, and give an example in each paragraph. And that's exactly what each paragraph of your essay needs to include. No more and no less. You need a clear statement. Just state your opinion clearly and succinctly, and then say why you're making that statement. Give a good reason, and then simply give a specific example. And one thing you'll notice when it comes to writing task 2, as well as giving instructions for how many words you need to write, the topic that you need to write about, and what your task is, it always says, give a relevant example from your own life and experience. So this is a crucial part of each paragraph and will strengthen your essay and help you to get the score that you need. So let's take a look at a typical IELTS Writing Task 2 prompt. This is one that has come from a previous IELTS exam. And the topic that we're being asked to discuss is students are becoming more and more reliant on the internet. While the internet is convenient, it has many negative effects, and its use for educational purposes should be restricted. And the way that they word the question this time for you to share your opinion is, how far do you agree with this statement? So remember, regardless of that final sentence, whether it says solve a problem, to what extent do you agree or disagree, or simply share your opinion, that's exactly what you're doing in each case. You're sharing your opinion on whether you agree or disagree, what you think the best solution could be, and that's where that will be the basis for sharing your opinion in writing task 2. So let's continue. So the first thing we want to do, and we're just going to look at one paragraph in this lesson, but the first thing we want to do is make a clear statement. So when it comes to students are becoming more and more reliant on the internet, and that while it's convenient, it has many negative effects. The first thing that I want to say when it comes, and I'll be writing 3 paragraphs in the body of my essay. I use a 5 paragraph format. So I'll have 3 body paragraphs, and you'll see how the rule of 3 applies to your entire essay in another lesson. But for each paragraph, I want to use this rule of 3 and start with number 1. Simply make a clear statement. And sometimes the best thing to do is just make a simple sentence so that it's definitely clear what your opinion is. And so I'm going to say that the internet is essential for education. That's the topic of this paragraph, and that's the only thing that I'm going to write about in this paragraph, because each paragraph should only have one statement or one topic, and it's simply this: the internet is essential for education. And so my next step is to say why I believe this, because when it comes to your opinion, something that's very important to realize is in writing task 2, you are not being judged on the validity of your opinion, because your opinion is your beliefs, your ideas, and your reasons for having your opinion. So you're not going to be judged on the validity of your opinion, or whether it's a good opinion or a bad opinion. You're simply being evaluated on your ability to express your opinion in English. And one of the other things you'll realize is that the topics that come up in writing task 2 are everyday common topics. That's why it's so important to write from your own experience and your own background, because there will be no topic that's totally unfamiliar to you. You don't have to have any prior knowledge. You don't have to have any academic knowledge of this topic. You just need to say your opinion, your beliefs, and express that in your language, the best language, English language that you can use, and share your opinion. So my statement for my first paragraph is the internet is essential for education, and why? I'm going to give a good reason. And this good reason is simply this: if used properly, it is the best source of information for study and research. So for the purposes of this paragraph, and to support the statement of this paragraph, I'm going to say it's the best source of information. Maybe in another paragraph, if I want to share another side of the argument, I'll express some of the dangers of the internet. But for the purposes of this paragraph, I'm just showing and backing up my statement that it's essential. It's essential. Why? If used properly, it's the best source of information for study and research. And then once I've given my clear statement and a good reason, I'm going to give an example from my own life and my own experience. And this is it. As a student, I had to learn to find the best and most reliable sources of information on the internet. And I discovered that there is nowhere the internet is more important than in school. So I'm just sharing from my own experience. This is a true account from my own life. So nobody can argue and say that it's not a good example, because it's a true and real example from my own life and experience. And so I've given a clear statement, a good reason, and a specific example. And if we put it all together, I have my whole paragraph. The internet is essential for education. If used properly, it is the best source of information for study and research. As a student, I have had to learn to find the best and most reliable sources of information on the internet and have discovered that there is nowhere the internet is more important than in school. So I just want to wrap this up by just adding a couple of more tips when it comes to writing task 2. First of all, you don't need any special or fancy academic vocabulary. If your English is at an intermediate, high intermediate, or advanced level, as you read this paragraph, I'm sure that there are no words that are new to you or words that you don't understand, or even words that you could add to your repertoire and use effectively. You do not need to learn lists of academic words and phrases when it comes to writing task 2. And secondly, my grammar is accurate. And the reason it's accurate is because I've kept it simple. And I have varied the length of my sentences. I've used 3 different types of sentences. For a clear, simple statement, I used a simple sentence. For my next sentence, when I was explaining my reason, I used a complex sentence, a phrase and a clause. And then in my last sentence, I used a compound sentence where I have 2 complete clauses. But it's not too difficult if you keep it simple, use the rule of 3, and you'll be sure not only to have good grammar and vocabulary, but you will have accomplished the 2 most important tasks in writing task 2. You've shared your opinion about the topic, you've accomplished that task, and because you've used the rule of 3, your paragraph is perfectly structured and will get you the score you need on the IELTS exam.